Sickle-Cell disease, a group of inherited disorders that affect the red blood cells, which are to carry oxygen throughout your body. Thank you for joining us on Health Nuggets. Today we understand the sickle-cell disease and some of the challenges that sickle-cell warriors go through. My name is Aida Munzatsi and Health Nuggets starts now. Normally, the flexible round red blood cells move easily through blood vessels. In sickle cell anemia, the red blood cells are shaped like sickles or crescent moons. Sickle cell is a life-threatening disease and it affects up to 3% of births in Africa. According to the World Health Organization and the Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, the Western and Coast region account for 30 and 20% of sickle cell cases respectively in Kenya. Dr. Robert Kimtai is a pediatrician, hematologist and oncologist at the Kenyatta National Hospital and the Kenya Medical Research Institute.
Under normal circumstances, we expect the red cells to be round and to be looking nice and good shape, but in this particular disease they actually change shape, and the effect of that change in shape is that the body recognizes this is abnormal and immediately starts to remove them and destroy them. And by doing so, when the body removes those cells and destroys them, it usually produces a yellow pigment in the eyes. So this is what we normally call jaundice. And so what you see with the patients presenting is they'll have jaundice, they'll be having anemia, which means low blood counts. And besides this, when the cells change the shape to become a sickle or like C, what happens is that this makes their movement in the blood vessels more difficult. I think just to use an analogy or an example is when you're using a tire of a car, when it is round, the tire of the car can really travel very, very many kilometers and give you service until it wears out. But in the sickle cell example, for example, the cell becomes like a C, and a C is like moving the flat tire or a tire which is the shape of a C. And you can see that gives the body a hard work in terms of trying to move this blood, and ends up usually sticking in either the blood vessels. And that presents one of the most common features that you see in sickle cell. For example, if when it goes to the small vessels in the hand and it blocks there, then it manifests as pain in the hand. If it goes to the leg and blocks in the small vessels in the leg, you get pain in the leg. Same thing appears when it happens in the tummy. You see commonly children will present with tummy pain. If it happens in the back, you get back pains. If it happens in the chest, unfortunately this comes not only with chest pain, but comes with symptoms like pneumonia, and where you actually have difficulty in breathing, coughing, and on top of that you may get infections. The most catastrophic thing is, or difficult one, is having a stroke. When it happens in the head, you get a stroke, and that is one of the really most devastating complications apart from the chest one for sickle cell. The other thing which happens with sickle cell is because of this shape, it also affects a very important organ called the spleen. The spleen is really important in developing the immune system. So children with sickle cell lack immunity besides having low blood counts, and therefore they get repeated infections. And all this, because it is a lifelong disease, happens throughout life, and therefore later in life the complications accumulate and eventually they affect different organs. And starting from the head, which you talked about, stroke, it affects the eyes, which affects the vision, it affects the kidneys, it affects the heart, it affects the bones, and therefore it's a disease which affects all the body organs.
So both parents, that is the father and the mother, contributes genes to the development of a baby. Let's see how this happens with this simple demonstration and how it can lead to a sickle cell child.
I've tried to simplify this by just using the two cards that I have here. So under normal circumstances, if you have normal blood, you've got information coming from your father, which is A, and you've got information coming from your mother, which is A. So the type of blood that you make is called AA. And this is the normal blood, which is normally round, the round cells which move nicely along the body and they do not have any challenges. So somewhere along nature, there was a typo which occurred. And that typo led to the introduction of an S. And that introduction of an S actually in malaria areas favors the individuals who get A from the father and S from the mother. So these are the carriers. So somewhere along the nature, areas with malaria, you started to see carriers appearing because of some typo which occurred, which led to the S. So in malaria areas, commonly you will find patients with AS actually do survive and live longer than patients who with AA because the AA actually provides survival advantage. The AS provides survival advantage to this. So if a mother with AS meets a father with AS, so the types of children they can form, because the children, half of it comes from the father, half is made from the mother. So we can imagine a situation where the father contributes S and the other mother contributes S. So the child that will have SS. And this situation is where you have the child with sickle cell. On the other hand, the father may contribute A, okay, and the mother contributes A. So the child that will form will be an AA. So remember, these are the same parents, but they are able to get a child with AA. They can get a child with SS, and also the father can contribute A and S, and therefore they can get a child with AS. And this is where I was explaining that by nature, if we do the calculations, all this happens by chance because we don't select which child is formed, and without any interventions, 25% of the children will be SS. So a quarter of the children will be SS. Purely by chance, half will be carriers. So that if there's no intervention, just by chance, half of the children will be carriers, and again another quarter will be normal. So I just wanted to make it clear that if you are a parent who is a carrier, AS, then you just by pure chance you may get a child with AS, 50%, which is a carrier like you. Normal child, 25% chance, and sickle cell child with 25% chance. So parents should not be surprised that they say, okay, I've got a normal child, and why do I have another sickle cell? And sometimes this actually creates, without the good understanding of all this, that sometimes creates tension sometimes in the family. So that can happen that way. So that is by pure chance. But since we don't know, all these are nature processes. It's just like throwing a coin. You can get heads 3 times, so you can actually get children with sickle cell 3 times. You can get tails 3 times, so it's like you can get normal children of the 3. You may actually get no child with sickle cell, and all these combinations are there. So it is just important for us to be aware of that when you are thinking about genetic diseases.
Signs and symptoms of the sickle cell disease usually begin in early childhood at around 6 months. Millicent Manga is a 22-year-old living with sickle cell disease. She was diagnosed at an early stage.
Tangu venye nilikuwa mdogo nilikuwa nagonjeka sana, but hatukuwa tunajua ni nini. So nilikuwa napelekwa hosi, daktari wanatibu malaria kila wakati until wakati nilikuwa kitu 8 months ndio nilienda hosi nikakuwa admitted. Nilikuwa na damu ya HB ya 2, ndio madaktari wakaanza kutafuta ni nini naweza fanya nagonjeka hivyo kila saa. So baada hawakupata na walikuwa wametutuma Kenyatta by then, lakini financial status ya shosho yangu haikuwa inatuallow tukuje, so tulikuwa tunagonjeka tu, bado narudi home hivyo until nikiwa 7 years ndio nikapata well wishers wakanidonate, nikakuja Kenyatta nikafanywa hiyo test HB electrophoresis, ndio nilikuja kuambiwa niko na sickle cell. Mi kabisa sikuwa naelewa Sickle-Cell ni nini, na the first time nilipata hiyo news, shosho yangu ni mtu anapenda church sana, so hata yeye hakuwa anaelewa that much, lakini tulikuwa tukienda kila time, tukienda clinic tunafunzwa hiyo ugonjwa ni nini, vitu yenye mtu anafaa kufanya, yenye hufai kufanya. So mimi nilikuanga ile like hapana, mimi sina hiyo ugonjwa, na yani nilikuwa ile kigodly, siwezi kuwa na hii ugonjwa alafu nikapatikana ni mimi tu kwa familia yetu niko na hiyo ugonjwa, hakuna mtu mwingine ashaikuwa nayo. So kuna hiyo maswali unajiuliza, ni kwa nini mimi?
Life is generally challenging. However, it becomes more challenging with added health complications. Sickle-cell warriors can face quite a number of challenges, from finances, stigmatization, and stress.
Kutoka hiyo time mpaka saa hii kitu nimeface kubwa sana ni rejection, sana sana kutoka kwa friends wangu. Juu mostly nikiwa mdogo mimi mwili yangu haikuwa ina grow, alafu nilikuanga mkonde sana, so walikuanga wanapenda kunitusi, wananiambia niko na HIV, hiyo kuni neglect. Then watu walikuanga wanasema ni curse. Juu ya venye leo unaweza toka ward ufike home tena hiyo pain ikushike unarudi home, I mean. So wanasema maybe huyo alikuwa cast, ni majini, ni mashetani, vitu kama hizo, mpaka wanafika point wanajiisolate, hawataki kurelate na nyinyi sana. Challenges zenye mimi na face sana sana ni kukuwa na marafiki bado. Si kila rafiki mwenye utapatana na yeye accept venye uko, juu wanakujanga sasa like Sickle-Cell sahi naweza kana wewe naongea vizuri, ukifika huko chini unasikia mimi nishakuwa mgonjwa, sasa unaona wao wanaanza kutoroka. Then ukimingle na friends wa kabila zingine unapata kuna hao wanapenda kwenda sijui maombi, so unapata wanaambia watoto usitembe na huyo msichana, huyo ako na mashetani atakuambukiza. Na challenge nyingine ni kwenda hospitali. Kuna hospitali zingine hazijui kuhandle Sickle-Cell, na kuna madaktari wengine hata wa encourage mtu, unatoka ward leo ukirudi kesho wako umerudi tena, kwani shida ni nini? Unaona, na wengine wanaona ni kama unajifanya. Mwaso wakati uko uko in pain, wanakupea pain killer, I respond, so uko like niko bado in pain, so wao wanaona unawasumbua, unajifanya. Anipenda Mwokozi Yesu, anipenda mimi nikiwa mdogo nilikuwa nataka kuwa news anchor, yani kutravel, alafu pia nilikuwa napenda kuwa actress na hiyo kudance. But sasa my shosh alikuwa anapenda kuniambia, unajua wewe huwezi panda ndege juu ya oxygen nini, huwezi enda kama hawa news reporters, huwezi tembea kila mahali juu unajua with Sickle-Cell leo unaweza mkoko sawa uende utembee, ukirudi jioni pain inaanza, na ikishaanza ishi hivyo rahisi, inaenda kama 1 month uko ward. Saa hiyo pia ni challenge, na huwezi fanya vitu kama kuact. Of course vitu kama kuact na kumodel inataka uva hizo viatu heels yenye wewe huwezi kwa sababu ya mgongo. Alafu pia Sickle-Cell kitu ingine imenifanya ni kurudisha mtu nyuma. Like mimi nilimaliza form 4 2015 na sahi classmates wangu wote wamegraduate, lakini juu mimi kwa sababu ya multiple admissions kidogo niko shule, kidogo niko ward mara mob, so unapata hata nikirudi shule narudi nyuma, so siendi mbele na wanafunzi wengine. Sisi vitu zenye tu ambiwa zinakuanga devastating, inabidi tu uaccept bitterly. Like mimi kitu na sana ukikaa peke yako wewe ujifikiria, yani unajipata tu unajifikiria wewe kwa nini hauko kama wengine. Labda sasa kama mimi ni msichana, daktari anakuambia maybe ku get married, vitu kama hizo. Ukikuwa na mtoto atakuwa nayo, so the challenges zenye huo unapata sana sana ukifikiria ikifika tuseme kwa hiyo relationship field, utapataje mtu mwenye anakuelewa na kuunderstand, anaelewa hii Sickle-Cell vizuri, mwenye anaweza ako ile willing kutembea na wewe kwa hiyo safari. Hata mkikuwa nao watoto wako na hiyo Sickle-Cell, ataweza fika mahali achoke ama asichoke na wewe.
Now, the dreams of many warriors have been shattered with several myths that are associated with this condition.
Me, I think hapo kwa lifespan, I think God ndio upeana life. Na mimi so far so good, venye nimeinteract na watu hadi nimejua watu wako na miaka 65 na wengine 70s na wako na watoto mpaka wako na wajukuu na wanaishi wakiwa na Sickle-Cell. So I think kila siku ukisikia mtu anakuambia ati like sana sana mimi nilikuwa napenda kuambiwa huwezi ishi beyond 17 years, huwezi pita hapo. No, mimi najua God ndiye anajua life ya kila msee kwa hii dunia. My greatest fear in life saa hii ni kukua get married na nikuwe na watoto wako na Sickle-Cell. Itani affect ile kabisa. Juu mimi mwenyewe I know hiyo pain yenye sisi go through, na sisi tumekalishwa na madaktari, tumefundishwa na kitu. Mimi sana sana daktari uniambia, the thing is kama unataka kuishi vizuri na ukate hiyo Sickle-Cell ni uadopt watoto. But sasa bado mi ufia kuadopt watoi. Alafu pia kukuwa na mtu yako na Sickle-Cell, mi nimeambiwa na daktari mara mingi, but ninaenda an extra mile kukuwa na huyo mtoto, alafu anakuwa na Sickle-Cell, anaumwa. Like mi nitakuwa nikifeel guilty.
Well, Sickle-Cell can be managed with an effective treatment plan. However, the treatment can be costly.
Sometimes people can say, oh, you are malingering, or you don't want to work or something. But like I explained before, this blockage can be sudden. The pain can be sudden. 1 minute somebody can be very well. 1 minute they are really in severe pain. They are unable to do much. Because of the anemia, they are unable to really perform necessarily. For example, sports. They might not be able to do the sports in the same way, but they still need to participate in sports. And working with the teachers and sports teachers, you can always find activities which can suit the child. So it affects them in that way, in the sense that one time they are very okay. There's nothing that you can even tell that they are sick. Another minute they are in hospital, and that can happen in a very short time. Living as a parent with a child with Sickle-Cell can be. It is the one thing they express is that you can never know. They can sleep very well. Midnight, temperatures shot to maybe 39, 40. You're in the hospital, and somebody went to bed very well. Then regarding things like pain, because they have got constant, many times they have pain, they can be limited. Sometimes they're limited because of the chronic things like the bone diseases and all those things. So that affects the patients in a different ways, and even psychologically, when as you grow as a teenager, sometimes those pains may increase, and because of as you grow up, then it starts to have psychosocial issues and so many other things come in which can actually affect the patient with Sickle-Cell.
Mimi nikienda hosi, nowadays wanasema imeanza kuaffect liver yangu, inafika inakuwa kubwa. Kama kuna wakati last year kuanzia November nilikuanga ward, so ilifanya liver yangu ikakuwa kubwa, alafu maji ikakuwa kwa heart, ikapush heart ikaenda nje. But ninashukuru Mungu juu daktari waliweza kujua mapema, wakanipea dawa zikaweza kunisaidia. But when I'm in pain, hiyo watu inatokanga nje kidogo. So tuseme nizo na kuishiwa na hewa, kupumua.
Sometimes patients come with the complications we already talked about. So they don't come in immediately showing these are the signs. Some of them are normal. Some of them come with stroke. Some of them come with chest, acute chest, what you call acute chest, or pneumonia type of presentation of the Sickle-Cell. So in those cases, we tend to suspect them and then do the test. So the best is to screen everybody and know that they have Sickle-Cell. Unfortunately, those programs are not completely up and running. The way sickle cell symptoms appear, they can really be divided into those ones where you have anemia, and as being the primary thing. And when you know you have anemia, you are always tired, you are always, you have fatigue, you've got headaches, you may have other symptoms like the heart beating fast, breathing fast, and all those signs which show that you have anemia. So that is the first kind of symptoms. Second kind of symptoms are related to the blockage of the vessels. And the ones which are related to the blockage of the vessels many times end up like crisis. And crisis, like I said, can be pain, which can be in the legs, it can be in the back, it can be the hands, it can be in the chest, it can be in the head, which presents as a stroke, the chest as kind of like pneumonia. Then we have the long-term complications, which are because of this constant blockage, the organs are not getting the oxygen they need, they get continuously damaged, so you sometimes get bone deformities, sometimes the shape of, let's say, the head may be, let's say, for example, different. There are things like the heart continuously getting that damage, you get it failing over long term, kidney failure, you may get things like blindness, which appears suddenly. So all this can actually be, they can actually appear suddenly or over long term. Sometimes things to do with just basically chronic pain. You may have what we call chronic pain syndrome, where patients, because they have had pain for some time, it also affects psychologically and all that. Then also, because of this, there's something called silent strokes, because of these blockages. Sometimes the brain, you don't see the obvious, let's say, weakness on one side, but when the child goes to school, you might notice that their performance, the teacher reports to you or the mother reports to you that the performance is dropping. It was good. We have really very brilliant children with sickle cell, and some of them are even doctors, architects, and engineers. But sometimes when you get strokes, you actually get that ability to perform well in school drops down. Sometimes people might start saying, "Oh, this child is becoming rude, or he's forgetful. He goes to the place. I send him to the shop, and he comes back saying they have forgotten what it was. I don't know whether it is they are becoming, they are growing up and becoming rude, but it's sometimes actually something which is happening in the brain." So regarding treatment of sickle cell, we can divide it basically into, I would call it 3 or 4. Number 1 is what we call health maintenance treatment. Basically, health maintenance means that when you are well, you don't want to go into the situation where you get a crisis or you get into complications. So to do that, we want you to avoid the triggers. And to avoid the triggers, we are kind of saying, take a lot of water. So you will always find that child with sickle cell should always be carrying water. We said one other trigger is infection. So we want to avoid infection as much as possible. So there were 2 ways that we do that, is to give what we call penicillin medicine as a prophylaxis to prevent infections, but also encourage and ensure that they get all the vaccines that they require, to prevent like pneumonia, to prevent all these other childhood illnesses. So we're normally always looking at the card for the patient to see that they have got all the vaccines. Then next to that is that we also have other things, keeping warm, trying to avoid, when there's an infection, like even this period where there's COVID, we're trying to avoid situations where they're exposed to get infections, because that can also trigger. Actually, sickle cell is one of the biggest risk factors if you get, COVID for mortality or death, kind of. So those are the health maintenance plus nutrition plus sometimes supplementation. And though we do not have a special diet, we recommend that actually you just use the standard, a good nutritious diet, which is balanced, carbohydrates, proteins, the vitamins and the fruits and all that. So those are kind of standard things. And besides that, then the regular checkups and just going to the doctor to make sure that things are okay. So when it comes to disease-modifying drugs, the key drug for us in Kenya is hydroxyurea. If you've heard of the drug hydroxyurea, it's a drug which we are trying to go back to the fetal life to improve that hemoglobin to be what it was in the fetal life. Because like I told you, when the baby is in the tummy and comes out soon after, we don't have symptoms. So we're actually trying to go back there. And it has got also other benefits for many other things. It reduces stroke, it reduces hospitalizations, it reduces pains, So basically, when you start hydroxyurea, that modifies the life of the patient completely. In fact, many times the patients only come for checkups, do blood counts, and that's it. So that's a key drug. So hydroxyurea, unfortunately, right now the access to it is very low, and for various reasons, it's not available. The costs sometimes, and sometimes even just the knowledge to use it, and even just pushing for it. I know there are companies which are trying to do that, and I think together with the ministry, with the county governments and all that, they're trying to push for this. The third one is, I would call them, when you have complications, you may need to do, so let's call it blood treatment or transfusions. So the transfusions basically, of course, with one can be just to simply replace, to improve the hemoglobin, and patients with sickle cell always have kind of low hemoglobin compared to the other people, but sometimes it really drops down and you need to transfuse on top. But there's what is also called chronic transfusions, which is management of patients who have already had stroke. And here we are trying to reduce, because if you transfuse somebody, you're transfusing somebody with AA blood, because then they are SS, right? So when you give AA, you dilute the SS, and therefore, if you have had stroke, that reduces the chance of you getting a stroke again. So you can actually reduce the S with the A transfusions to the point where somebody does not get as much frequent, doesn't get as much frequent crises and all that. The only challenge with that is getting blood. Number two is the blood safe, the reactions that you can get to the blood, and then get iron overload with the blood. Then the final one, the last one, which I've kind of reserved for last, is cure. Because everybody I know with sickle cell, this is one of the most distressing diseases. Everybody wants to know what is the cure. Because this is inherited, then you need to change that genetic material, and the way to do it is by bone marrow transplant. There are now some gene therapies people are trying, but this is really limited, and even in the resource-rich countries, only very few patients can get this, because number one, there are very few people who can match you, so that you can get the transplant which you yourself will not reject. And then number two is the cost, and number three is really just basically there is also risk associated with just the procedure, leave alone anything else. I mean, even in the good centers and you match siblings, there's still a 5% chance to 15% chance that you could actually die from the procedure. So I didn't want to it is available. It is, you can see some patients going to India to do it, but for the vast majority of the patients with sickle cell in the country, the key thing I would recommend is using hydroxyurea and the health maintenance, and getting transfused when needed, because sometimes if you transfuse unnecessarily, you introduce the risk of even infection, iron overload, and all these complications.
A great support system will go a long way for sickle cell warriors. Therefore, they need friends and families that will understand them and stick with them through tough times.
Dawa zetu zinakuanga very expensive. Kuna dawa moja unanunua, moja ni 40 bob peke yake. Sasa hiyo unafaa umeze dawa 3 kwa siku, na unafaa ununue for 1 month, na si hiyo peke yake, ni nyingi. So cost ya dawa pia ni very expensive. Kama government ingeweza ipunguze bei ama watu pay hizo dawa for free, bado tungefurahi. Kitu ingine, sisi tunakuanga pia na changamoto kwa workplaces, wale wenye wako na job, employees wenye wana-employ au ma-sicklers wa understand. Like si kila siku sickler ataamka akiwa sawa aende job. So wasiwagombanishe ile kuwapea pressure, juu pressure pia ina lead to stress, stress ina lead to crisis. Unapata mtu amekuwa msick.
I believe that tukiwa pamoja anaweza face whatever hiyo gonjwa nyana kuanga nayo in a brave way, unaona. Tunampeanga strength. Akituona hata kama alikuwa anahisi vibaya, unamwonanga tu akicheka, kitoa story, you know, because atutaka kumuonesha azini kama tuna dwell kwa hiyo ugonjwa nyako nao, tutaka kumuonesha that tunaweza enjoy friendship. Atufai kudwell kwa the fact that ati mtu ako na sickle cell. No, hiyo ni ugonjwa tu, iko tu ndani yake, una get. Huyo mtu ako na future yake, ako na vitu zenye zina make happy, ako na interest zake, akona passion yake, akona goals zake. Unaona, tunafaa kufocus on that direction. Hatufai kuangalia the fact ati yeye ni mgonjwa. No, akiwa mgonjwa tutakuwa hapo tukimsupport, but tunafaa kuwa hapo at least kumpush, tuone amefikia goals zake, tumpush tuone akiwa happy, tumpusha tuone tumefika pale si wote na all of us are happy.
Mwanzo nilikuwa na feeling scared because hadi ziona, yani mali mtu anaumwa alafu anasema anasikia joints hadi hizi move eti vitu fulani zinamuwasha mkono, so like hadi sikuwa naelewanga au hii pain iko aje. Sasa nilikuwa nasemanga sasa ile utolo nilikuwa nasema like hebu pia mimi ni feel siku moja tu, yani ikuje tu once na iende ni feel tu juu nisikie tu vile anasema juu mostly analianga kasi Mungu yenyewe miliala tujika tungekuwa naye sahi, lakini juu God ako na kila kitu tu manzi ugonjwa huyu na unaweza fight. Na mimi na believe tu hivi miili ataishi miaka mingi like watu wengine tu vile kasi wengine tuko, as long as tu prayers kitu ya kwanza.
Na ujumbe wangu kwa hao friends wenye wako na Sickle-Cell, kwanza ningependa ku-encourage niwaambie sisi hatukuchoose kwa na Sickle-Cell, lakini sasa juu tumekuwa nayo ni poa tu accept na to fight. Na najua God akiwa na sisi atatupea the strength hiyo yenye tunahitaji, na at the end of it tutakuwa winners. Tukipatana na changamoto like kuumwa kila wakati, mimi kitu nimelearn kabisa, usiwahi question God ni kwa nini. Juu nishaambiwa na pastor wangu, wakati God aliona uko na Sickle-Cell alijua mbona akupea bradako, akupea mamaka, akakupea wewe. So aliona uko na strength ya kufight hiyo Sickle-Cell. Na kwa dunia mzima na kwa pia parents wenye wako na watoto wako na Sickle-Cell, sana ningependa kuwapongeza kwa juhudi zao. Juu najua si rahisi kama mzazi kukuwa na mtoto ako na Sickle-Cell. Juu sana Sickle-Cell ina affect hata financial status za familia. Najua kuna time wanakaa chini wanasema isingekuwa hii ugonjwa sasa hata sisi tungekuwa tunaishi Runda nini, but nawapongeza sana juu wameaccept au ni watoto wao na wakaaccept kuwa take care of vizuri. Na pia kuna wale wazazi wenye wako na watoto wako na Sickle-Cell na wanawa neglect. Ningependa kuambia sisi kama warriors we need family, wazazi wetu sana na friends wenye wanasimama na sisi. Juu ukipata mzazi ako hapo kuku-encourage, anakupea hiyo nguvu yenye unataka. Na pia ningependa kuambia ma friends wa hao watu wasituogope, sisi pia ni kama wao, ni vile tu ni ugonjwa yenye inakuja na iko na season. So wakwe true friends kwetu, watu support na watupatie ile love yenye tunataka, na sisi tutapay back the same.
From these conversations, it's evident that a lot needs to be done as far as the Sickle-Cell disease is concerned, and more so supporting the Sickle-Cell warriors. That's all we had for you from Health Nuggets. For any questions and comments, you can always reach us on our social media handles. And thank you for those that have been commenting and suggesting health topics that can be featured on this platform. My name is Aida Munzatsi, and always remember, your health matters.
Are you looking to grow a business? CAC TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers